When planning training, we all want to be ambitious, push ourselves to the limit, see what's possible, see what our body can handle. But there's one mistake that every amateur seems to overlook. And what if I told you by fixing this one mistake, you could absolutely transform your cycling, see improvements, all while potentially riding the bike slightly less than before. See, the problem with modern day coaching ideologies is that it's all based on trickle down from the pros. We look to see what metabolic work the pros are taking, and we take that and we condense it into a 5 to 10 hour training week. Now the likes of Tadej Pogačar and the UAE team are doing hours and hours of zone 2 metabolic work, which is well beyond the capacities of your average 9 to 5 worker. And although we all have non-negotiables, pro cyclists included, they have late night flights, early morning transfers, marketing commitments as well. Your non-negotiable commitments are probably different to a red-eye flight that a pro has the evening after a one-day race in the middle of nowhere. So what's the difference between your training and a pro's? Pro cyclists set their lifestyle up to adapt to these off-bike stressors. A flight or transfer can completely dictate the training they do the day before and day after these travel days. However, unlike them, you're trying to cram a VO2 max session after putting your kids to sleep and waking up at 6 a.m. the next morning to get to work on time. This just isn't the lifestyle they're living. So what do you need to be looking out for when you're planning your next hard training session? Well, you need to be assessing for every different type of daily stressor. Whether that's socializing in big crowds, that means if you wake up in a few days with a sore throat and cold, you're not going to be riding the bike for a week. Your daily commitments, whether that's rushing the kids to school in the morning, or whether that's getting into work on time so your boss doesn't give you another bollocking. Late night socializing where you potentially don't get the optimal amount of recovery. All of these are daily stressors that we all experience in life. So if you're trying to train like a pro while living the 9 to 5 life, there needs to be some level of give and take here. You can't be waking up at 6 a.m. to get a zone 2 workout and neglecting taking your kids to school in the morning. So after all that, this is how you can train to get the best adaptations for your daily life circumstances. Number 1. Pick out the biggest off the bike stressors and see if they are non-negotiables or they can be removed from your calendar. Maybe it's Aunt Jeannie's birthday party on Friday night and you're not a big fan of her and you're supposed to have a big ride on Saturday morning. Then maybe you see if you can not show up to that one event in particular. You know you're going to lose sleep, you know you're going to be tempted by alcohol, and both of these mean the Saturday morning session is going to be compromised. And if Saturday is the one day of the bike that you get free reign to go out and spend 4 or 5 hours out on the lanes, then that's your best day of the week to get the least compromised ride, to get the biggest training adaptations that day. And point number 2. During the week, you've probably got more non-negotiables. You've got to take your kids to school in the morning. You've got to get to your desk for 9 a.m. You've got to get home, potentially stop off at the shops, get something for dinner. These are non-negotiables. You can't tell your boss that you had an important Zwift workout that morning and that's why you were late to work. So these non-negotiable stressors in life, like getting up early in the morning, going to bed at a certain time, you need to look for the time of the day which is going to cause you the least amount of stress. You don't want to find yourself in a position where you're over planning and under delivering, because it's going to leave you feeling unmotivated and feel like you're failing in your own training. You want to look to see how much training you can get done realistically given your life stress. Point number 3. We want our hard days to be hard and our easy days to be easy. If you've had a hellish day at work and you still want to train, you want to clear your head, you want to get all of that out of the system, and it's 9 o'clock at night and you're supposed to be going to bed at 10, that's probably not the day to be doing a VO2 max session. That's the day to maybe do a bit of zone 2, lighter work, stuff that's not going to keep you up, keep your heart rate elevated right before you go to bed, so you can get a good night's sleep, reset for the next day, and see what the stresses of tomorrow are. Because you never know, you might have a more relaxed Friday, maybe get a half day Friday. Friday's the day to say no to the beers and you're going to thank yourself. The day where you can get a hard day training and a good night's sleep recovery, those are the days you're going to get the biggest adaptations. If you're constantly running yourself on empty, squeezing in hard training sessions just when you can fit them in, you're going to get ill, you're going to get injured, you're going to be stressed. You might find yourself even more stressed than if you hadn't trained. So quick summary of this video. If you're not currently taking into account your off the bike stressors, because that's all training is just stress and adaptation. If you're not taking into account your off the bike stressors, whether it's taking your kids to school in the morning, getting to work on time, social commitments, all of these things are putting stress on your immune system, putting stress on your mind. And if you're not taking account for them, you're not going to be getting the biggest adaptations possible from your training sessions. We want to go hard on the hard days, easy on the easy days. Plan out your training, look for the non-negotiables, circle them, say, I know I'm going to lose some training on this day because I've got to go to this event. Look for the events that maybe you can miss, string a few days of good training together. You control the off the bike stress, you have the chance to then adapt and actually improve at cycling. If you're just constantly beating your head against the wall, trying to slam Zwift workouts every time you get a chance, for half an hour here, 40 minutes here, and all of them are really high intense workouts, all you're doing is stressing yourself, never giving your body the chance to adapt. You're just going to plateau and not get anywhere with your cycling training. If you found that video helpful and you'd like to see me bring up a mock calendar, go into detail of an average week and what it might look like for somebody training during a 9 to 5 and how I would plan their training for 9 to 5 to get the best adaptations as quickly as possible, then let me know by commenting down below. Thanks.